Hello everyone. Today I'm here to discuss about the subject revision. The subject is electrical machine design. So we have now covered up all the 4 modules from this subject, right? So previous to the 2 months back we had covered the portion. Now when we are going to start with the questions which you are going to attempt in the question paper. So let us see that in what way you are going to attempt the questions. Before that, let me give you a sequence of order how you are going to attempt the questions. So let us see here. At the beginning, we can take up the module 1. In module 1, it just cover up all the theory concepts. So there are 9 standard questions which will be keep repeatedly asking. So better we can take up this module 1 as a granted. So it will be very easy. So well practice with all these 9 theory questions which will be repeated again and again. So as usual, according to your scheme, that is 17th scheme, definitely the module 1 which will be related with around 16 marks. So if it is 16 marks, definitely you can score at least 14 out of 16 marks. Okay. So after this answering the questions from module 1, next we can move on to the module 4. So module 4 is related with the design of a 3-phase induction motors. So here in this module we'll be having the theory plus the problem will be definitely given. So some part of A will be the theory and B will be the problem. Okay. So definitely there will be a problem along with the theory. But if you gain a knowledge of this module 4, definitely you can follow up the module 5, which will become more easier to solve the question paper, right? So in module 5 also, it's a design of a synchronous machines. So if you are very much familiar with all the specifications which is there being discussed in the module 4, all the assumptions which had been taken up in the module 4, you can practice the same thing and it will be almost similar in module 5. So definitely you will be having the one question will be theory and the other question will be the problemmatic, right? Fine. So if you study module 4, definitely you can gather the information for the module 5. After that, we can attempt to the question that is module 3. This module 3 is a design of a transformer. So definitely most of the specifications will be quite different compared to that of rotating machines which we had been discussed in the module 4 and 5. So in module 3 also the question paper setup will be almost similar. The theory plus 1 will be the problem, right? All the standard problems which we have solved in the previous year question paper, it will be almost similar, only the values will be different, right? So after getting through this module 3, we can also go for the module 2. Module 2 is related with the design of DC machines. So again, it's a rotating part of a machine, right? Okay. But here, if you're not able to concentrate for all the 5 modules, if you want to score more marks, definitely you can go with the module 2. It will be easy Because once you come across with the rotating machines module, that is 4 and 5, the parameter will be almost similar. If you follow up this, definitely you can follow up the module 2. Right? Okay. Here also you'll be having the theory plus the problem. Definitely questions. Okay, fine. So as how I told you that you have to attempt in this sequence, which will definitely wins your heart, and as well the individually as well the valuator's heart, where you can score up well, okay, in this sequence, and you may not get more tension in the question from the question papers. You should not get panic enough. You have to be cool and start with the module 1, which is full of theory. Definitely you will get at least you may gain 25% of your confidence level from this part. And if you win this module 4 and 5, definitely I can tell you, you will gain a knowledge of at least 75% of your mind will be relaxed. Fine. But those who are planning to just get past through it, module 1, 4 and 5 is sufficient. But not only that, what you can do here is, from all this module 4, 5, 3, 2, there is a definite question which will be keep repeating. What is that definite question? The theory question part. There are many theory questions will be there. Okay. But the common question you have to practice well before you go very in depth of the 4 and 5, 3 and 2 modules, right? Okay. So what is that compulsory question is the derivation of the output equation, derivation of the output equation, which is very, very important. Along with this, don't miss the theory part, that is what are the factors which is going to influence onto this. The factors affecting the output equation. Okay. So, if you practice this common question from all these modules, first, at the beginning, definitely you're going to practice this, all the theory, 9 questions, done. After that, immediately go through this common question, that is derivation of an output equation and the factors which is going to affect from all these modules, 4, 5, 3, 2, all these modules. Definitely you can get the 2 questions from each module. That is derivation of an output equation. Then further, the remaining theory questions you can practice well later when we go very in depth with the module 4 and module 5 and etc. Okay. And along with that problem, we will discuss the problems which has been asked in the previous year question paper. The same problem will get repeated. There are certain standard problems are there which you need to follow the textbook called A.K. Soni. And as well, you can refer to my material which has been circulated to all through the mail, or I have circulated through the blog. Okay. And as well the few problems which I have discussed in the Savi YouTube channel. Right? Fine. So now let us go through the one of the question paper we'll take up and we'll discuss only the module 1. So that all the questions which has been asked, we will just revise it in all the question papers. What are the questions had been asked from this module 1? Okay. Now you can see that in this one of the question paper, that is CBCS model question paper 1, from the module 1. The module 1 is mainly related with the fundamental aspects of electrical machine design and electrical engineering materials. From this topic, the first question which has been asked is, what are the desirable properties of an insulating materials? Explain the classification of an insulating materials. This was asked for 8 marks. So what you're going to expect to write, right? First we have to list out the standard, the desirable properties of an insulating material. Okay, now let us do that. Let us discuss about the desirable properties of insulating material. The first point, high dielectric strength, high resistivity, low dielectric losses, no attraction for the moisture, good thermal conductivity, high degree of thermal stability, and it should be sufficient mechanical strength to withstand the vibrations, and it should be able to withstand the moisture, chemical attack, heat and other conditions. So these standard points need to be mentioned when we are going to discuss about the properties of insulating material. So next part of a question will be the explain the classification of insulating material. So definitely the examiner would like to expect you to use a standard properties which you have to mention. So these are the properties, we can note it down, and along with that we have to write down the classifications. To write down the classifications, you can just see the table here what we have written. So we need to follow the keyword which I had discussed in the class. So Y, A, E, B, F, H and C. Okay, you can follow that the keyword as why all electrical boys fight with higher semesters students in classroom. Okay, so that keyword you can remember, and at the beginning you need to write down for class Y 90 degrees Celsius, and at the last you have to write down greater than 180 degrees Celsius. It's a double of that. Okay, and in between how you have to fill is 90 plus the another 15. Okay, plus 15 you have to increment, so it will get 105 degree. Okay, then similarly for the next part another 15 you have to add, it will go to 120 degree. So till here you need to stop the incrementing with the 15. After that at the class B you can see that there will be an increment will get changed. It will be around 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, only 10. Then again what 10 plus 15 is 25. Again we have to start with the 25 of the increment from the class B. So class B will be just like an intermediate in between of the 3 classes YA and another 3 classes FHC. So before the B there was an increment of 10. After the B it will be an increment of 25. Okay, fine. So like that when you keep going with 25 plus 25, so it will 155, 155 plus 25, 180 degree. And the last already you would have written it. This is how the easiest technique, how you can remember the temperature. Next, coming to the examples also, it is very easy. So examples, if you start at the beginning for the class Y, definitely that same examples will be holds good for the class A. Okay, so now let us discuss what is that class Y is. The examples will be the paper, cotton, silk, wood, cellulose and other similar organic materials which has been impregnated, which has been neither impregnated or immersed in oil. So all these examples which I have mentioned, it will not be impregnated in any of the liquid materials. So these materials will have a tendency to absorb the moisture and deteriorate rapidly. That's all. Next, coming to class A. Class A will be all the materials which has been belonging to the class Y when it will be impregnated. Okay, so you have to just change a word that in this case whatever the materials are there in the class Y, So those class Y materials will be impregnated with the certain solutions, that is with natural resins, cellulose, esters. That's all. Next, coming to class E. Class E will be the, again it's a enameled wire insulations on a base of polyvinyl formal epoxy and polyurethane resins. So molding powder plastics on phenolic formaldehyde, etc. These are the examples for the class E. So a little bit standard examples you need to mention in class E. Next, coming to class B. Class B, now again a new examples you have to take up. That is like a mica, glass fiber, asbestos and other similar inorganic impregnator or glued together with varnishes or compounds which is having a ordinary heat resistances. So mica, glass fiber, asbestos and similar inorganic impregnated or glued together with some more thermally resistant. So those are all belongs to the class B. Next, coming to the class F. So in the class F, the example will be the varnishes or compounds such as like epoxide and polyurethane, etc. Next, about the class H. Class H you have to again refer back to the class B itself. So again repeat the example. Mica, asbestos fiber, glass, but it is impregnated with the other solutions, that is with silicons and which is containing no organic fibrous materials. That is about class H. Last but the not least is the class C. Class C will be including the ceramics, quartz, asbestos, glass and mica, which are neither impregnated or bound with the organic substances. So they are not directly involved in the machine design. Okay. So this is what the examiner would like to expect you to write in the exam. Okay. So this is about this question. Next, coming to the 1B. Question 1B is explain the limitations in design of electrical machines. So let us see that what all the points you have to remember to discuss onto this question. So the solution for this question will be, we have to remember a keyword, that is the student of any institute from electrical and mechanical will give power to the computer science students. Okay. So this is how you have to remember. So you can take up S as a saturation, T as a temperature raise, I as an insulation, E as an efficiency, M as a mechanical parts, P as a power factor, C as a consumer specification and S as a standard specifications. So we need to explain each and every of these factors, okay, which will be very important. So you can just let's have a brief description about a saturation. Saturation, that is whenever we can see that most of the electromagnetic machine is make use of a ferromagnetic material. So maximum available flux density is to be used, which is being determined by the saturation level of the ferromagnetic material which is being used. So if the flux density is very high, then it results with the increase in the excitation, which results in the higher cost for the field system. That's about the saturation. Next, coming to a temperature raise, the operating life of the machine is mainly depending upon to the type of the insulating materials which is being used as a life of the insulating material. In turn, it mainly depends upon to the temperature raise of a machine. If an insulating material is operated beyond the maximum available temperature, then its life is drastically reduced. Okay. Next, coming to an insulation. The insulating which is being used in the machine, it should be able to withstand the electrical, mechanical and thermal stresses which are produced in the machine. So when we are going to design the insulation, due to some considerations, it must be given given to the capability of the insulation in order to withstand any large mechanical stress that is being produced under the short circuit conditions. Next, coming to the efficiency. So the efficiency should be as much high as possible in order to reduce the operating cost. So in order to design highly efficient machines, the magnetic loading should be small, and this requires the use of a large amount of materials. So therefore, the capital cost of a machine designed for a higher efficiency is very high, while its running cost it will be low. Next, coming to the mechanical parts. So in mechanical parts, the size of the size of the shaft, it should be such that it does not give rise to an excessive unbalanced magnetic pull. So we have to remember that keyword unbalanced magnetic pull when it is being deflected. So in large machines, the size of the shaft is decided by considering the critical speed, so which again depends upon to the deflection of the shaft. And the bearings which has been there of a rotating machines, they are subjected to the action of the rotor weight and external loads, then inertia forces which has been due to the unbalanced rotor, and forces on account of unbalanced magnetic pull. So that is about the mechanical parts. Next, coming to the power factor. Poor power factor results in a larger values of a current for the power, and if the larger conductor sizes have to be used, then the size and cost of the induction motor will be reduced by using a high value of flux density in the air gap. But it may result in a saturation in the iron, the parts of the machine, and a poor power factor. So that is why the value of a flux density mainly depends upon to the power factor, and hence the power factor becomes a limiting factor. Next, coming to our consumer specifications. The specifications which has been laid down in the consumer order have to be met, and the design evolved should be such that it satisfies all the specifications and also the economic constraints which has been imposed on the manufacturer. Next, coming to standard specifications. Standard specifications, these specifications are the biggest strain on the design, because both the manufacturers as well as the consumer cannot give away from them without satisfying them. So this is about the question 1B. So this was asked for another 8 marks. So definitely we have to mention all these factors. Along with that, we need to explain. So without any explanation, definitely it is not much satisfied. So we have to explain each of these factors with a technical issue. Okay, what I had discussed just now. Now next, coming to 2A, B, C question. In this model question paper with the module 2 part. Okay, so which you need not to worry about it. So we'll not discuss about that another part of a question, because it is been covered from the module 2. So don't worry that you may get such type of question paper. Definitely from module 1 itself, the 2 ABC question will be set. Now we'll just move on to the model question paper 2. So let us concentrate again with the module 1. Now coming to the model question paper 2, the same questions had been asked what we had discussed just now, but it is just been interchanged. So in 1A, it is been asked as explained briefly the classification of insulating material according to the maximum permissible temperature is, and mention at least 4 examples for each. So let us have a practice that when you're going to write down the table, so at least 4 examples which you have to remember from each of the class of from insulation materials. Okay, then you can holds good, you can write down your answer will be holds good for all the different types of question, even though they are going to twist it in any way. Okay, related with the insulating material and the classifications. Next, B question, as just now we had discussed, the same question has been repeated, that is explain the limitations in the design of electrical machines. Similarly, in model question paper 3 also, the same question had been asked. What had been repeated in model question paper 1 and 2. Now let's move on to the regular question paper, that is June-July 2018. So in this question paper also the same question had been repeated. So 1A will be the explain the limitations in design of electrical machines. So these are the keywords which you have to remember to write the solution and with an explanation. And the table which I had discussed previously in the model question paper 1, the same table we have to write down, that is a list the insulating materials and how they are classified based on thermal consideration, and also list the properties of insulating materials. This is also having discussed just now. So the other part of the choice will be the next part of a question which belongs to the module 1 itself, that is what are the advantages of modern trends in design and manufacturing techniques. So this was asked for 8 marks. So this is also one of the standard question. If these two questions is not being given, definitely this is the next part of a question which you have to follow up. As I told you, there is a 9 main theory questions which you have to practice. So out of that, this is also belongs to that bunch of questions. So what you're expecting you to tell here is, main thing is we need to discuss about what are the old trends which has been faced up during a design of electrical machines, and what is the new thing which had been occurred to develop the designing of machines. So this information need to be covered in this question. Let me give you a brief discussion on to that is digital manufacturing solutions and technologies through their offerings like design for a manufacturing and design for a serving. It will definitely help out the companies to configure the optimum work which will flow during the plant layout stage, which will enable the companies in enhancing the productivity and as well as overall output of the company. So our digital manufacturing solutions, it could be used to design and plan the green plants or a brown plant, right? So either way is either ways it will configure the optimum and customized workflows. So keep repeating these keywords as related with the optimum and customized workflows for the companies, which would help them to generate the highest possible level of production output, thereby enhancing the production capacity of the plant. So there are certain issues which is concerning to the constraints in manufacturing or feasibility of a manufacturing popularly which has been referred to as a manufacturability concerns. So these constraints, definitely it is very difficult in order to satisfy, and highly it is expensive to rectify. It is very much expensive to rectify once the plant workflows and processes are established. So a better prior validation would help companies to identify such concerns at the earlier stage itself of planning, which would save the time as well as cost of rectifications, right? So definitely we have to ensure that we are going to make an application of a virtual validation of a plant and resources, and also make an optimum use of available plant space. So definitely we have to ensure that the techniques which has been like the digital techniques, that is nothing but a CAD related software which will helps out to overcome any kind of constraints which is not been satisfied manually. So that can be done by using this software. And all the companies which is going to build up with the plants will run with a more efficient, yet it will be secured and safe and work friendly. So this informations need to be covered up when you're going to discuss about this. The next 2B question is distinguish between the aluminum and copper wires. So the next question, as I told you, distinguish between the aluminum and copper wires. For this, what you can do is we have to bring out certain properties. Based on the different properties, we have to segregate both the copper as well as the aluminum with the certain properties like resistivity, conductivity, density, coefficient of linear expansion, melting point, and thermal conductivity. You need not to stick on to the same properties. Anyway, there are some more properties are there which you have to you can cover up. Okay, so this is just a few the properties which I have taken up. So these are the values which you have to cover it up when you are going to distinguish between the aluminium and the copper. From this you can notice that the best part of this material, where you can see that in the resistivity, in the copper side it is less compared to that of the aluminium, right? So you can see that resistivity is 0.0172, whereas in the aluminium is 0.02. It is more in the aluminium, whereas in the case of this here also, the conductivity of the copper will be more compared to that of the aluminium. Okay, by this factor. 58.14 for the copper and 37.2 into 10 power of 6 Siemens per meter for the aluminium. Similarly, considering the density also, the copper is the most highest one compared to the aluminium, and as well the coefficient of linear expansion is around 16.8 into 10 power of minus 6, whereas in the case of aluminium it is 23.5 into 10 power of minus 6. Similarly, the melting point is 1083 degrees Celsius for the copper and 660 degrees Celsius for the aluminium, as well as the thermal conductivity it is 599 watt per meter cube, watt per meter degree Celsius, and for aluminium it is 238 watt per meter degree Celsius. So these are the few properties which I have listed out. Few more properties which you have remembered from the class notes, you can just represent it. So no need to worry about that. Okay. So these are the standard questions from this session. You have come across with the module 1, the solved question papers, totally the 4 question papers just now we had discussed, that is model question paper 1, 2, 3, which was almost similar, and the change which you had found in this question paper is June-July 2018. The additional 2 questions had been taken out. So it will be a best practice that we can also go through one more question paper that was asked in December 2018 and Jan 2018. That will be the question is, explain clearly the factors which is going to impose limitations on design of electrical machines. So the same solution what we had discussed the points, the same thing you can discuss. And first B question was, discuss a modern machine manufacturing techniques in the design of electrical machines. So this question had been asked in that part, 1B as this question for December 2018. And that 2 questions had been mixed up for 88 marks. And 2A question was, what are the desirable properties of an insulating material? The same, this question itself, again they have repeated as question 2A, that is desirable properties of insulating material which has been used in electrical machine, and give the classification of insulating material based on thermal considerations and give examples for the each materials. So as I told you, have a practice for 4 examples for the each class type. Okay, so that definitely your answer will be holds good for any kind of the question had been twisted. Next, coming to what are the desirable properties of conducting materials which has been used in the electrical machines. So this is an additional question, but it has been little bit it is twisted. So almost that question will be similar to this. So the 2B question is, what are the desirable properties of a conducting material? So these are the 2 conducting material, right? So in addition to this, you should also focus on to the good, what are the properties of conducting materials. Along with that, you have to remember this table. So here they have asked, what are the desirable properties of magnetic materials which has been used in the electrical machine, and as well explain any 2 conductors with their properties. So any 2 conductors means these 2 conductors, that is copper and aluminium, and these are the properties which you have to write it in the terms of table. That completes the another question paper, that is December 2018. So you can see that the question has been getting circulated over here itself. Okay, if you study these 4 questions, it is being asked alternately, and it is being choice related with, if this question is asked, this is being clubbed with this, or if this question is being asked, it is being clubbed with this. Okay. So this is about 2018 paper. So similarly, you can cross check with the 2019 question paper, and definitely we will discuss with that question paper also. But now let us end up the session and make a practice with all these 4 questions. Please make a note of it. That is, explain the limitations in the design of electrical machine. Second thing is list the properties of insulating material and classify the insulating material based on thermal consideration, and also mention the 4 examples for each class. The third question will be related with what are the advantages of modern trends in design and manufacturing techniques. Fourth question will be what are the properties of a conducting material, and discuss about any of the 2 conducting materials. That is nothing but you have to distinguish between the aluminum and copper, right? So let's have a challenge that we are going to practice all these 4 main questions, and when we'll move on to the next question paper, let us see what is the change is going to happen. Thank you for watching this video.